Hello, my dear students. Today we are going to discuss about how participants show the movement. But before we going to start, we have to remember some of the important points of the previous lesson. Mahatma Gandhi found salt a powerful symbol. He sent a letter to Lord Irwin stating 11 demands. As Irwin was refused to do so, Gandhiji started his famous Dandi March, and he reached Dandi on 6th April 1930. Difference between non-cooperation movement and civil disobedience movement. Thousands in different parts of the country broke the salt law. The colonial government began arresting the Congress leaders one by one. Even Mahatma Gandhi was arrested. Mahatma Gandhi decided to call up the movement. Gandhi-Irwin Pact and the Second Round Table Conference. Mahatma Gandhi went to London for the conference, but he returned disappointed. Mahatma Gandhi again relaunched civil disobedience movement. Dear students, let us now look at different social groups that took part in the civil disobedience movement. Why did they join the movement? What were their ideals? What did Swaraj mean to them? Rich peasants communities. In the countryside, rich peasants communities like the Patidars of Gujarat and the Jats of Uttar Pradesh were active in the movement. They were very hard hit by the trade depression and the falling prices. They found it impossible to pay the government revenue demand, and the refusal of the government to reduce the revenue demand led to widespread resentment. These rich peasants became enthusiastic supporters to the civil disobedience movement. For them, the fight for Swaraj was a struggle against high revenue. They were deeply disappointed when the movement was called off in 1931 without the revenue rates being revised. So when the movement was restarted in 1932, many of them refused to participate. My dear students, now we are going to discuss about the attitude of the poor peasants. The poor peasants were not just interested in the lowering of the revenue demand. As the depression continued and the cash incomes decreased, the small tenants found it difficult to pay their rent. They wanted the unpaid rent to the landlords to be remitted. They also joined a variety to radical movements, apprehensive on raising issues that might upset the rich peasants and landlords, and the Congress refused to support no rent campaign in most places. So the relationship between the poor peasants and the Congress remained uncertain. Indian merchants and industrialists. During the First World War, Indian merchants and industrialists has made huge profits and become powerful. They lend their support to the Congress in protest against the colonial policy that restricted indigenous business enterprises. They also gave financial assistance and refused to buy or sell foreign goods. They formed associations like the Indian Industrial and Commercial Congress in 1920 and the Federation of the Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industries in 1927. They hold the opinion Swaraj as freedom from the domination of market by foreign goods, but withdrew their support when the Second Roundtable Conference failed. They were also concerned about the rise of socialist ideology in the Congress. Purushottam Das Thakur Das and G.D. Birla attacked the colonial control over the Indian economy and supported the civil disobedience movement when it was first launched. Industrial working class. The industrial working classes did not participate in the civil disobedience movement in large number except in the Nagpur region, but some workers did participate in the civil disobedience movement, selectively adopting some of the Gandhian programs. There were strikes by railway workers in 1930 and dock workers in 1932. In 1930, thousands of workers in Sutanakpur tin mines wore Gandhi caps and participated in protest rallies and boycott campaigns. But the Congress refused to include workers' demand as part of its programs of struggle. It felt that this would alienate the industrialists and divide the anti-imperialist forces. Participation of women. During Gandhi's salt march, thousands of women came out their homes to listen to him. They participated in protest marches, manufactured salt, and vacated foreign clothes and liquor shops. Many went to jail, moved by Gandhi's call. They began to see service to the nation as a sacred duty of women. However, Gandhiji was of the opinion that it was the duty of women to look after home and heart, be good mothers and good wives. And for a long time, Congress did not allow women to hold any position of authority within the organization. Dear students, at last, we have to remember again some of the important points. Rich peasants community like the Patidars of Gujarat and Jats of Uttar Pradesh were active in the movement. The poor peasants were not just interested in the lowering of the revenue demand. So the relationship between the poor peasants and the Congress remained uncertain. During the First World War, Indian merchants and industrialists has made huge profits and become powerful. They were also concerned about the rise of socialist ideology in the Congress. The industrial working classes did not participate in the civil disobedience movement in large number except in the Nagpur regions, but some workers did participate in the civil disobedience movement, selectively adopting some of Gandhian programs. At last, large-scale participation of women and Gandhi's view. Thank you.